Hello, I'm Victor Scargle, Culinary Director for Boisset Collection and Atelier Fine Foods and Catering. Thank you for joining us again. Today we're going to talk about making a few quick and easy sauces. One that is Jean-Charles' favorite is just a simple lemon caper brown butter sauce. We like to use it on a lot of different fish dishes. It'd be very similar to like your chicken piccata dish. But I want to show you a couple ways to where you can make it that it'll hold up and stay emulsified or stay together instead of separating, because it's a butter-based sauce. So normally it would like to separate. So I'm going to show you a way where we can use a little bit of the blonde chicken stock. We showed you in another video how to make that, how to do that to keep it together. So I've got a pan here. It's on fairly low heat. I'm going to add a touch of butter. This is just unsalted butter. We like to use unsalted butter because then it allows us to control how much salt we want in it. Maybe you're salt sensitive, maybe you like more salt. By using unsalted butter, we can control that as a chef, or you as a chef. So you can see the heat was on fairly high. It's got nice and brown. I can just lift it off the heat to avoid it from burning, because you can smell that, you can see that. You want that brown nuttiness to it. I'm going to add some salt. I'm going to add some capers to it. You see how it's popping there? And what we're going to use to stop the browning is we've got these beautiful Meyer lemon sections. And so we're just going to squeeze those into the pan. That stops the browning process, so it goes from that nutty brown and stops it from going into the burnt stage of it. So we're going to add a little bit of that to it. And then you can pull it off the heat. Just let it sit till you're ready to plate. Or you can take a little bit of this blonde chicken stock and add a little bit of that to it as well and pull it off the heat. When you remove it off the heat, it stops it from reducing down. If it reduces down too much, that is when it's going to separate again. So you can see those really slow bubbles that are in there. That's when you know it's starting to reduce down, starting to get thick, and that's the point where it'll start to separate again by adding that little bit of blonde chicken stock. It's not going to taste like chicken stock, but it's going to give that protein in there that's going to keep it as an emulsified dressing. I also sometimes like to add some things for crunch. So I've got some toasted pumpkin seeds. I toasted these on about 275, 300 degrees, just to add a little bit more crunch to the sauce as well, a little texture to it. And then the last second, I'll add a little bit of this micro basil to it. But I want to just make sure that we've got it to the consistency we want, because we don't want to add these things too early. We'll add a touch of micro basil. You could add chives, you could add chervil, parsley, cilantro, whatever herb that you like, depending on how you're going to serve it. You know, if I'm doing chicken dish, I might use basil. If I'm doing fish, I might add some dill or tarragon to it, or chervil or chives. So depending on how you want to serve it. And then you see how this is got this nice consistency to it. And that's all just with a little touch of that blonde chicken stock in there. So you can see, make sure we taste it. And you're looking for this. You want it to be a little bit more acidic than you think, because most of the time you'll serve it with something rich, a scallop or sole, or in Jean-Charles' case, some stingray. So you want to make sure you've got enough acid in there between the lemon and the capers. So what you've got here is a very simple sauce to make. It's a lemon caper brown butter sauce with some toasted pumpkin seeds, some micro basil, and when you add the chicken stock to it, it allows you to hold it as well. That protein that's in there, you can cool this down, and maybe you're going to be busy the next day with your guests, and so you can pull it out of the refrigerator, put it in your pan, put it on low heat, and have this nice sauce. Without that chicken stock in there, that protein, it'll tend to separate. But as you can see, it's a very simple sauce to make anyway, so you can make it all a minute, but it's a great sauce, goes with a lot of different things. Thank you so much for joining us again. Victor Scargle, Culinary Director for Atelier Fine Foods and Catering with Boisset Collection. Happy cooking.